Bonjour mesdames et messieurs, in this episode we're going to do some interior design photography. Bonjour mesdames et messieurs, my name is Serge Ramelli, I'm a French photographer and today I'm in the Hotel Abbaye. This hotel is a charming 4-star hotel. I've been working with this hotel for over 12 years. I'm the official photographer of the Hotel Abbaye and I love it. And every time I come to Paris, because I live in Los Angeles now, I stay at the Hotel Abbaye. It's small, it's got a garden, it's amazing. A lot of celebrities stay here. It's not that expensive for a 4-star hotel. You gotta check it out. If you come to Paris for a honeymoon or for anything, you gotta check it out. Monsieur and Madame Lafortune will welcome you in this maison à la française. It's like a house where you feel like at home, but with a French style. And I want to show you the inside. It's beautiful. Every furniture has been searched with a lot of taste. It's really the French style, like I love it. And I'm going to take some photos, and I'm going to take a photo that I never did. I'm going to do some really nice HDR because you've got a garden outside, you've got a beautiful salon inside, and I wanted to show the inside and the outside at the same time, which is in interior photography one of the hardest things you can do. So follow me in the Hotel Abbaye and let me show you some of the framing that I'm doing and how I'm going to retouch it until we get some really cool photo of this beautiful, amazing hotel. Come with me. One of the first photo I'm going to do is this angle. This is something that I've not been able to do in the past with my Canon 5D Mark II when I used to shoot this hotel, because you see here you have the outside and you have the inside. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to bracket it with my Sony A7R II and see how I can get the inside and the outside somewhere in post-processing. Now I want to talk to you about the framing. The framing is super important when you do interior design. And the main trouble is that you've got so many things going on, so you have to look very precisely what you want to include and what you don't want to include. So for example, here on the right side, you see I want to make sure maybe I get a bit of that wall, not something like this where you can see a little bit of the wall but not everything. You know, same thing with the painting here. Somehow I want to get the painting, so maybe I'm going to go a little more wide angle and go a little higher up, but now I'm cutting here, so I have to choose where you know, whether I am going to cut this out or cut the top out. Basically the idea is you have to pull this border. Now I cannot really show this to you in the video because the video is a 16:9 framing. It's not the exact same one I'm going to be using at the end, but you will see in the photos the different framing I'm going to try to reach. But I'm going to be very careful to what I find around the borders of my photo. So let's give it a shot. Right before we jump over the retouching itself, I just want to tell you that my Cityscape masterclass is out. Been working on it for actually a number of years, thinking of all the shoots I've done. You have a full presentation of this course at the end of this video. All right, let's jump over to Lightroom and let's retouch the amazing, the incredible Hotel Abbaye, my favorite hotel in Paris. So, one thing that I do when I shoot a hotel and when there is outside and inside scene is I like to do HDR. So I do some bracketing, meaning. So that's the underexposed photo, that is the normal photo, and that's the overexposed photo. Now, I'm going to show you the whole process from deciding which shoot I'm going to use and how I'm going to retouch them. So that's the first photo. I kind of like, and I'm showing you the overexposed so that you can see the framing. I know it's overexposed, it's just for the framing. I kind of like, the thing that I don't like, there's two things I don't like about this photo is I don't like the chords here, that's a bit confusing, and I don't like here that the lamp is really close to the top of the photo. So let's look at our next composition, which is again bracketing, so under, normal, and over. And this time is very similar. I didn't change anything. So let's jump over to the next one.
Now the next one is a little bit better. I kind of went higher up. The only problem is that it does a little wide angle effect here, which I don't like that much, and here. You know, it makes, but it's, what I like about it is that we see everything. So, you know what? I think we're gonna retouch this one. So what I usually do, because the next one that I have, I believe, is here, and this one, oh, let me show you. This is yeah, this is the next one that I have, which is we don't have the wide angle effect. You know, it's much closer, so we don't have the wide angle effect, but we see less of the room, and we have the lamp that's kind of close. So I'm not sure which one is going to be the best at the end. So in this case, what I actually do in real life is I retouch both, because it's hard to see until it's retouched which one is going to come out the best. Now, so the first one I'm going to retouch is this one. So this is the 3 exposures. I'm going to take the 3 exposures just because I have them and create a super raw file by clicking right-click, Photo Merge, HDR. By doing that, I'm going to merge all 3 exposures into one big HDR. Now, what I like about Lightroom doing that is that it's still a DNG, it's still a raw file, meaning you can still do all the magic of Lightroom onto it. So I'm going to click on Merge, but I've already done it for speed reason, and here it is. That's the HDR. You see, the name just adds HDR to it. So now I'm going to retouch this HDR. And this one is a really tricky photo because you've got different colors from the inside and the outside. So the first thing is, as I'm going to put the shadows so we can see more what's going on, I'm going to bring down the highlights. Now on this one, I'm not going to bring it down completely. I'm going to do it here about, because it's an HDR. When it's an HDR, usually I don't do the plus 100, minus 100. I'm going to do my black point by holding the Alt key on my keyboard. I want some definite black point. Remember, a black point is all you see in yellow and red are completely black. And then I'm going to do my white point. And my white point, I don't want anything burned, so plus 21 is good. Now, just as a comparison, if I take the normal exposure and I try to do a white point, you see, I'm at 0 and I'm already completely burned here. See, if I hold on the Alt key, 0, at plus 10, I'm burned. 0, I'm burned. If I take the HDR and I press the Alt key at 0, I'm not burned. I have to go to plus 26 before I get some burn lights, because I get a much bigger dynamic range. So that's kind of cool. I kind of like that. I'm going to do a little minus clarity, but just very little bit, just like minus 4, minus 6. I think gives back a little bit of natural and add a bit of contrast. Okay, now by doing that, I'm ready to talk about the white balance. I always like to do the white balance once I've done my basic contrast. Now we have an issue here, is that we have a white balance which is very blue for the outside, and we have a white balance that's very warm for the inside. Now how do you do this? Because you only have white balance. Well, I'll show you a little trick, and that's actually one of the main tricks I'm going to show you. First, I'm going to look at the outside. I think the outside might be a little too warm, just a little bit. So I'm going to back it down maybe a little bit, and then I'm going to use the tint and maybe add a little bit of magenta, because I like magenta. Just something like this. I kind of like that. Now, I find the photo is a little too dark, but if I boost the exposure, what's going to happen, I can boost the exposure a little bit, but what's going to happen, it's totally burned the outside now. But remember, this is an HDR, so I've got hidden information there. I've got 2 issues, that the outside is too blown out, and it's got the wrong white balance. It looks very blue and everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little brush here, and I'm going to go to, first I'm going to go to temp. Whenever you take something on the menu here, what happens is that everything comes down to 0 but the option you're looking for. So on this one, I'm going to warm it up. I want to warm up the outside, and I want to make the highlights darker, the exposure darker. So I'm doing 3 things here. Next, I'm going to click Auto Mask on, and I'm going to go get my flow and density around 80. And now, as I brush on the outside, I'm doing 3 things. I'm changing the white balance. I'm making things a little warmer. And I'm making things a little darker at the same time. 3 things for the price of 1. Now check it out. Before the brush stroke, after the brush stroke. Now the outside is warmer, the outside is darker. And now we have a better balanced photo. Okay, I think on this one, what I'm going to do is I'm also going to take a radial filter, and I'm going to go under the lamps here, I'm going to click invert the mask, feather, and I'm going to go to exposure. So same thing, is going to put everything down but the exposure. I'm going to boost the exposure a little bit, and I'm going to do a minus clarity. What minus clarity is going to do is that it's going to diffuse the light. I want to diffuse the light and maybe add some yellow to make it even a little warmer. I'm just trying to make, like, you see, I've got like a little torch here that I'm going to put under this lamp to diffuse it and make it warmer. Then I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm going to do the same thing here, but less strong. Just a little bit, so we have a little bit of, maybe not that warm on this one. And then I'm going to right click, duplicate. I want to do the same thing here on that lamp, but smaller, just maybe a little bit above the lamp. I love what we call practical lighting, meaning that we use the light that's already there. This hotel is very well lit, and that's what I just want to put more attention on that. You know, the eye gets drawn to the brightest part of the photo. Giving it a little glow is kind of always cool. Now, I'm not sure what I'm going to do about this lamp. I might do a little glow all over it, or not. It just might draw a little bit too much attention. No, I don't think I'm going to do that. It's already, actually, you know what? I might even do the reverse. I can take this one, right-click, duplicate, put it over there, because this one is kind of blown away. So maybe I can bring down the highlights just on this one and lower the exposure just a little bit, because I don't want all the attention to go there. I can add some yellow, why not? Some warm. I'm still doing some minus clarity. You know, it's whatever I want. Let's see, before, after. Yeah, a little too under, so I'm going to back it down. I'm just adding a bit of clarity on this one. Okay, and now on this, I have, let's see what lens correction is going to give me. Remove chromatic aberration, unavailable profiles correction. That's good. It takes a little bit of the wide angle effect out. Sometimes also what you can do is go to the aspect tab here, and if I go on the left, it squeezes even more, but if I go on the right a little bit, it takes a little bit out of the wide angle effect, just a little bit, but don't go too far. Okay, and all the effects come back on. All right, now on this one, I might add a little post-crop vignetting just to see if it makes a little more drama look. Yeah, a little more post-crop vignetting on this one kind of works. There is a big sensor dust here that I just saw that I'm going to erase here and here, a little one. Okay, and I think I like this one a lot. Maybe just a little tiny bit of contrast, just overall contrast a little bit. Okay, yeah, that's kind of natural, but it's still an HDR shot, and we managed to, you know, have the white balance outside and inside fit. We have a, you know, a good dramatic look. So once I'm happy with what I got on this one, I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to take this series of shots. So this one, I did it on purpose so I wouldn't have the wide angle. So that's the normal, that's the under, that's the over. No, that's the HDR, sorry, and that's the over. So I already prepared the HDR. Remember to do the HDR. You just click 1, 2, 3, and then you right click, and you go to Photo Merge HDR, okay, which I've already done. So it's here. That's the HDR. What I can do is I can take what I did here, Command-Shift-C, copy it, and copy here. It's a very similar photo. It's just a little more zoomed in. Of course, some of the things are not going to work, like, you know, the brush is a little off, so I can erase the brush and redo it. So the brush is here. I'm warming up. I'm lowering the exposure. I'm lowering the highlights. You see, that's the settings stayed from before. And I'm going to rebrush, make sure auto mask is on so it doesn't go on the curtains. And I'm going to redo that here really quick. So that's a really cool trick to when you have got different white balance. You know, you take the smallest one and you correct the smallest one with a brush. All right. And on this one, somehow, I think it's a little, this one is a little too dark. So I'm going to boost the exposure a little bit. And then I'm going to take the radial filters. They are not positioned properly. So the radial filter, I'm going to put one here. There's one there that I'm going to put here. You have to change your radial filters when you do that. One here I'm going to put here. Here. There's one radial filter there that I'm going to put over the lamp. Now that really bothers me that the lamp is half there. Like, so let's see if we can do something about that. I'm going to crop a little bit of, no, before I crop, sorry. I want to redo the, I want to do upright, see if it helps a little bit. Yeah, upright makes it a bit more straight, but that really bothers me. So let's see what would happen if we take it out. You know, if we just would crop here. Why not? Not a bad photo, you know, it's just like you have to border police. Now, here we are missing a lamp here. I want something shiny here, and I think the photo is still a little too dark because, you know, when you zoom in, you just get different feeling, not that much. Okay. Okay, I like that. Now this one I like. So what you can do is take this one and this one, you press C and Shift Tab on your keyboard to go full screen mode, L for going dark. So on my left, I've got a zoomed in photo, and on my right, I've got the wide angle. I think, despite the fact that I have a bit of a wide angle effect, I think I like the right one for better. You know, but it's a good detail photo. It's a good detail photo. We had good drama. I like it. Okay, L, back. I go back in the full screen mode, and let's continue. The next one that I did is the corridor. So this one is going to be much easier because we have less light from the outside, so we less have a white balance issue. So this one, let me show you the framing. This is your overexposed photo, so you see the framing. I don't like this. You see I messed up again with the lamp. So the next framing is blurry. The next framing is better. The lamp is nice and tidy. And the next framing is about the same. So what I did here is I have the 3 photos. Again, I right click, I go photo merge, HDR, you know, auto align, of course, even so I was on a tripod. And you know, the HDR is not going to make a huge difference, but you will see you would get less burn lamps and things like this. So I've already done it. It's here. That's the HDR. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take whatever I did here, for example, press Command-Shift-C, and on this one, I'm not going to take the local adjustment because I don't want the brush, the gradient filter. Maybe I'll take the gradient filter, the radial filter, because I know I can move them around, but I'm not going to take the brush, and I'm not going to take the crop. Okay, everything else I'm going to take. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to go on this one, which is the HDR one, and press Command-V. It didn't work. So when that happens, you just redo it. Command-Shift-C. Oh, that's because I was not in the develop module. So I'm going to redo it and Command-Shift-C. Copy. Everything that I did before is already in memory. And I think this is the one. Okay, and Command-V. So that's just the basic of retouching. It's not finished. But it gives you, like, the white balance is going to be the same. So we have, which is cool because, you know, you want something similar. So let's see here. Something that bothers me about the upright. Okay. Let's see. Okay, aspect, I'm going to put down to 0. Yeah, I don't want the aspect there. And maybe just do the auto. Something was wrong. Yeah, okay, that's better. The aspect was messing up here because I copied by mistake the aspect. I shouldn't have done that. Okay, so now I'm ready to move around my radial circles. So one is here. It's got nothing to do here. They should be around the lamp. So remember that circle, what it does. Oh, not this one. I wanted to add exposure and add a bit of minus clarity so we have like a glow around the lamps. What we want is the glow. The glow is what you're looking for. We want the glow. So maybe a little glow here. What do you think? A little glow here. And there's a big lamp here. And you don't have to stick to all there. Like, for example, this one has nothing to do here, so I'm going to erase it. Okay, what else? So let's see, before the radial circle, after. Just give a nice glow to your roll photo. Okay, on this one we have we have the outside coming out there. So I'm going to take a brush. I'm going to go to exposure. I'm going to take auto mask off this time because I'm doing something else. I'm going to boost the exposure and maybe add a bit of blue because it's lights from the outside, and I'm just going to cast some light from the outside here just to put, bring back some light, maybe add some blue, a bit of blue in there so that we have a little of contrast of color. I think that's good. All right. Now that bothers me that we are so close to that painting. Let me see if we can correct that. Let's see if I can do something here. No. So you know what? When that happens, it's because I did the off. I'm going to put this off, and I'm going to do my own cropping by hand. Something like I just want this to be straight. I want a little more space. Okay, yeah. We have a little bit of an issue there, but I'd rather have this a little crooked and a little bit of space here. I think that's just more natural. And basically that's that. I think the photo is too dark, so I'm going to boost the highlights and boost even more the exposure. And because it's an HDR, mesdames et messieurs, because it's an HDR, you can go away and you can boost a lot of these sliders and you won't get artifacts because it's 3 photos blended together. So I like it. That's the one. Let's see that what we have so far. We have this one. We have this one. And this one. So I can press N to go in survey mode, Shift Tab, L. So that's the wide angle, that's the close-up, and that's the corridor shot. I like it. You know, I think they look dramatic, but still some natural in it. Let's carry on. I think we have one more to go on this shoot here. So I'm going to go back in full screen mode, go back to the develop module. And the last one I want to do is this one, the one from the bar. So this one I did from the bar, but there is an issue with that. We can see the bar too much, and you know, it's what I call police border. So again, what I did is I took the 3 exposures and I did an HDR, which is here. I already prepared it for you, so it's faster. And I'm going to press Command V so that what we did before is here in memory. Okay, not bad, but there's a lot of things wrong with this photo. So when you do Command V and you don't like it, you know what? What I usually do is I just reset and I start over. I start over because when the light condition changes a lot, sometimes you're better off starting over. It's not good to just copy all the time what you're doing. You might want to just start over to give it a fresh eye. So I'm going to open up the shadows. I'm going to bring down some of the highlights. I'm going to do my white, holding the Alt key, and I can go to +25. Probably if I would take the normal photo and I would do my whites, I'm already blown away at 0, at +5. You see, I have a lot more dynamic range because of the HDR. So I don't care to burn things a little bit. I'm going to do my black. Okay, my white balance is off. I'm going to boost a little bit the exposure. And I think the whole thing is a little too yellow, so I'm going to go I'm going to add some blue and maybe a little bit of magenta. Like what it does inside, but I don't like what it does outside. Okay, maybe add a bit of contrast, which is always, and you know, and again, I'm going to boost things. Yeah, I think my black are a little too strong on this one. Okay. It's kind of tricky. Now, the outside really bothers me now because it's super bright. So remember, we have this trick. But first, you know, that really bothers me. That really bothers me. You know, you have to do what we call the police border, meaning you have to look at your photo and take out anything which is ungraceful. So this one, I'm going to go for a pano. I'm going to go right below the lamp and right above the bar, and just make a little pano of this beautiful salon. I think this way we don't have these distracting elements. Okay, I think I'm going to do a little minus clarity also on this one. Okay, let's correct the white balance. So remember, we take the brush and we're going to do 3 things. We're going to add some warm, lower the exposure, lower the highlights. Put auto mask on, make sure flow intensity is around 80. Big brush. And now I'm going to brush. So I'm brushing warmth. I'm lowering the exposure. All of that for the price of 1 brush stroke. And because it's an HDR, I have a lot more details to play around with and I don't get burn lights. You know, I really want to show how amazing it feels to be, you know, either outside or inside and seeing the garden that they have. It's very rare for a hotel in Paris to have their own private garden, and I wanted this photo shoot to be about that. Also, I wanted to show you this technique because it's really, you know, it's really hard when you got too white balance. So now we got, you see the outside is kind of warm, it's cool. It might be a little too warm now. Let's keep some of the blue. Okay, I have some sensor dust here that I'm going to get rid of here. And not completely. Voila, should have cleaned my sensor first. And now I'm ready to, the photo is a little, you know, it lacks of drama, so we are ready to do our trick of the radial circle again. So, one big circle to rule them all, invert the mask, feather. I'm going to go to exposure, voila, and minus clarity. Okay, that's cool. I think I like that. A little bit of drama. Oops, there is a sensor dust just there. These sensor dust, they get everywhere. This time is a bit too much, but I like that. You know what? There is 2 lamps. Plus there is a reflection of another lamp. So I'm going to make this a little smaller. I'm going to duplicate it. And you know, there is a saying that a partially lit object is more interesting than a fully lit object. That's why working with practical lamps, meaning having a room that's kind of dark and having a whole bunch of lamps, which is really the design that they went for, is really cool because it gives this little look here. Okay, and I think on this one I'm going to take a little brush and I'm going to boost the exposure. Oh, first let me show you the radial filter before the radial filter. Oops, before the radial filter, after. Small change, but it, you know, brings back the light. We are bringing back the light. Okay, now I'm going to take a brush and I'm going to brush here to put, you know, more emphasis on the light from the outside. Brush a little bit here, just to make this a little, and same thing, maybe add a little bit of blue. I'm going to brush a little here. If there was lights casting from here, brush a little here. If there was light casting from outside. I'm not making it bright everywhere. I'm just making it locally. Okay, I have another sensor dust here. Let me take it out before I forget. Definitely not a good job on that. And all right, I think I like this one. Maybe add a little bit of contrast. Little bit, and something for me is a little off. So when I'm not sure about the white balance, usually what I do is I'm going to filter this by 1. So we only get what we retouched so far. And I like to go full screen. So you press F on your keyboard and you go full screen. I look at it and I look at all my photos in full screen mode. Okay, that feels right in terms of white balance. Oh, I like this one. This one is really cool. I think it's probably one of my favorite. And this one. And you know, I just look at the feeling. Now, the truth be told, the best of the best is to come back. There's something I don't like about this photo. Maybe I think it's too dark. It's something I don't like. It just gives a little too dark feeling. So I'm going to slightly, I'm at 0.85. I'm just going to go to 110, maybe. So sometimes one good trick to do is I'm going to boost the, I really want the garden to be lighting the photo. So I went from 0.85 to 110. That's already better. And one thing you can do is you can go back when you light out a photo. Again, you can add a post-crop vignetting. So it brings back from, you know, it makes it darker again. And here I find it's a little too bright. So I can take my brush strokes. Remember, my brush stroke is there. And I can even make it darker a little bit. So I darken even more the outside. So we have a more balance. But that really works well if you're in HDR mode. And voila, I think that's the shoot from the Hotel Abbaye. So if you really want to stay in a nice hotel in Paris, in the heart of Saint-Germain-des-Prés, it's like a minute away from the Garden of Luxembourg. I don't know why it's not going full screen mode. It's not, but that's fine. And it's really, it's a beautiful place to play. I mean, the number of international celebrities that goes and is in this hotel is unbelievable. Almost, I've been going for this hotel for 12 years, and like 1 time out of 2, there is either an international celebrity or a local celebrity, and it's very affordable for such a prestigious hotel. If it's a perfect hotel for honeymoon, you know, or if you really want to just get that Saint-Germain-des-Prés experience. All right, enough about the Hotel Abbaye. Let me talk to you about my Cityscape masterclass that just came out. It's really based upon the books that I've done on New York and Paris and Venice that I'm working on. It's really my best techniques about Cityscape, and here is a full presentation. Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs, and welcome to my Cityscape masterclass. I just want to walk you through all the different projects that I have. I'm actually just on a few projects because there is over 40 different full retouching, and I just picked a few so you have an idea of what you're going to be learning. So first we're going to go live in the Arc de Triomphe, where I'm going to show you how I compose my photos, and then we're going to do some lone exposure, black and white, selective color or not of the Arc de Triomphe. We're going to go on the top of the Arc de Triomphe and have a beautiful photo shoot there, and I'll show you how to retouch, because how you can do it without a tripod. Tripod are not authorized on top of the Arc de Triomphe. And then we're going to continue by going to Notre Dame, where I did a lot of shoot and a lot of live shoots, and I'll show you the best that came out of it. That's the before. That's the final photo that we're going to get in the Notre Dame. That's another one we're going to get. That's the before photo, and that's the final result, where we're going to do like an HDR and really getting all the details coming out. Then I'm going to take you to the Da Vinci Code Church, the Saint-Sulpice, Église Saint-Sulpice, and we're going to do it again in the middle of afternoon, live, an ND1000 shoot to get this final result. Then we're going to go the whole way down to the south of France in Provence. I'm going to bring you to Saint-Tropez, and we're going to do some night street photography with long exposure. That's the before, and that's the final result. One of my favorite one of these small cities in the south of France. This is also a big panorama. We're going to be doing an HDR panorama. That's the final result. It's a lot of photos. It took about 18 photos to get this result, still in the south of France. Then we're going to go back up the whole way to Amiens in the north of France, and I'm going to show you some before and after of a beautiful sunset. I really wanted to do small cities. I wanted to do big cities. So this is again Amiens before and after. We're going to go back to Paris in the Louvre, and I'm going to show you a really cool technique to take out and erase all the tourists. That's the before, and that's the after with no tourists, a beautiful sunset in the Louvre. Then we're going to go to New York, and in New York I'm going to show you a lot of projects there, but this is just one in particular I'm going to show you. This is a building in New York, and that's the final image. It's a pretty tricky retouching with a Vertorama, sky replacement, a lot of different things to make really this photo pop. Then I'm going to show you the full workflow of one of my favorite photo ever that actually sold the most, and this is the view of Paris. It's the cover of this course, and there is some work that was taken to get really this photo and make it pop, and this is something you can apply on all the high vintage view that you have on Cityscapes. Then we're going to finish by Venice, and this is just one of the projects. That's the before and after during the Carnival. So I've been preparing this course for over a year, taking photos from all over the world. The idea is really to show you my best photos, all my retouching techniques. It's very much in the same idea than the landscape masterclass, except this one is for cities. It's got a lot of tricks that you won't find anywhere else, neither on my YouTube channel or on the other courses. There's a lot of new techniques there, and I've even retouched old photos with new techniques that came out with Lightroom CC and Photoshop CC. So I hope you do check it out. It's one of my longest courses that I ever did, the Cityscape Masterclass, and I'm sure it will help you to take your Cityscape photos really to the next level. Check it out.